Good morning. This is Nathan Hartel, and welcome to Coffee Break, a podcast of Riverside County Child Support Services. Thank you so much for joining us this morning as we take our coffee break to spend a little bit of time with our listeners, enjoy a hot cup of coffee, and talk about all things related to child support. We are here in April of 21, and I'm thinking back on a crazy year. March of last year is when COVID really changed a whole lot for the world, for each of us as public servants serving the residents of Riverside County in our respective jobs. And when I think back on that time and I think about what our immediate need and our immediate focus was for our child support customers, I think about the need to continue our services and then to make sure that that was seamless for our customers. And so we moved quickly to make sure that our staff were available, that technology was in place to offer virtual appointments, ramp up live chat, texting, email, phone conversations. And once we had that in place, one of the things I was reflecting on was that very, very quickly, it became evident that more than ever, an existing need really needed to have some extra focus. And that was that child support customers also cross over, and they have a need for services and referrals and programs that are offered by sister county departments and community partners and agencies. And so we really wanted through this podcast in our current season to highlight and showcase some of those other county departments and agencies and what they have to offer, because we know that more than ever, people are coming to us at child support because they need support in the way of finances to raise their kids. They're going to a lot of other places too. The needs are just growing and growing and growing. And we're still in the middle of the pandemic. We got some good things going with the vaccine coming out, but we're still right there. And so in our podcast, our listeners will know, and if you haven't, you can go back and find other episodes where we've interviewed Community Action Partnership. We've also interviewed First Five of Riverside County. And that brings me this morning to having the pleasure of welcoming two guests from Riverside Department of Public Social Services, DPSS. And there's a whole breadth of services that they provide. This morning, we're going to be speaking with Maribel Castaneda, a senior program specialist, and Elisa Smith, supervising employment services counselor, specifically about self-sufficiency programs, including welfare to work. And there's so much that DPSS does. We could probably have an hour-long or more discussion or multiple episodes on everything that DPSS has to offer Riverside County. But self-sufficiency is really where we want to focus for our episode, because that's at the heart of the child support mission as well. We provide the services that we do to our customers to ensure that paternity is established, that court orders for medical support and financial support are established and then collected upon, so that our families can provide the resources for their children and be self-sufficient. So this morning, Maribel and Alyssa, I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for being part of our podcast. And I'm going to ask each of you, if you would, introduce yourself to our audience. You can certainly do that in a more personal and better way than I can. Let them know who you are and what you do at DPSS. So welcome and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk to the residents of Riverside County. Again, my name is Elisa Smith, and I am a supervising employment services counselor. My job is a supervisor for the welfare to work programs. I've been with DPSS over 25 years, and it's really been my pleasure to watch families grow and become self-sufficient through employment and through the other services and programs that we offer.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. So my name is Maribel Castaneda. I'm a senior program specialist with the Community Outreach Branch. We are part of the Department of Public Social Services Self-Sufficiency. And what we do is we go out into the community to create awareness and perception of all the DPSS and self-sufficiency programs. We have a mobile unit of eligibility technicians who attend various events throughout Riverside County. And again, we educate staff, customers on program requirements and the process in which them and their families can benefit from receiving self-sufficiency programs. And also we teach them how to apply for these benefits and how to retain them, which is very important for them and their families.
That's great. Thank you very much, both of you, for being with us today, for explaining what you do and what your role is. I can share with you both that one of the reasons, as we thought about doing this particular episode and interviewing you from DPSS, one of the things that kept coming to mind was going back to one of our first podcast episodes that we did in episode 1, and we addressed a variety of topics where our child support customers were a little bit confused maybe about some of the services that we provide, and we did an entire episode kind of clearing the air for them and saying, you might have thought this, but here's the reality. Here's how we really want to help you and provide services to you. And one of the things that would very commonly come up from customers, and it still does, is you would have an existing child support customer who would say, I think I need some other services too. I want to apply for food stamps, for example. I want to, apply for CalWorks. I just need general help, but I'm afraid to do that because I already have this child support case open. And so one of the things we were able to do is just help our customers be at ease and recognize that, we are all here as county agencies to provide every service that someone is qualified to receive, applies for, and qualifies for. And that includes, that crossover where you have a customer with child support. We don't want them to be fearful to go visit you at DPSS and ask for those services. So that is kind of the framework for where this is coming from. And, so we want to ask some really basic questions of the two of you. We want to give you an open door to share as much information about these self-sufficiency services as you can, so our listeners will end this episode feeling encouraged to go visit with you, to apply for services, to ask for questions, and to feel free to do that without any reservation. So a couple questions just to kind of kick us off, and I'll let the two of you decide who is best suited to answer. But we want to know, you referenced self-sufficiency. When I say that related to child support, I know what I mean, and it's kind of a general term just to, speak to our customers and say, we want you to have the resources that you need to care for your family. But what does self-sufficiency mean for DPSS in terms of services provided? And then specific to self-sufficiency, what are those programs? What is offered and what is available to the public? So that's kind of general, kind of a broad open door. But I want to kind of leave that there for the two of you to provide some information to our listeners, if you would.
Thank you, Nathan. That is a great question. And self-sufficiency is not only a division within DPSS, it is also our philosophy. The primary programs under that is the CalWorks program, which we'll get into a little bit more detail, and the Welfare to Work programs. That is my area of specialty. Self-sufficiency, as you stated, is about being able to support one's family, being able to be a positive member of your community, to being able to pay your bills and to have the resources necessary to live, a healthy and happy life. And that's what the self-sufficiency programs are all about. It's helping families obtain stability so that they can go out and take that next step and have that next job or deal with other things that are going on in their life that really maybe a little bit troublesome, or they just need a little extra help and a little extra direction and support. And that's what our programs really are about, is providing that direction and that support to the families in the Riverside community.
All right, that sounds great. You mentioned a couple things that really stand out to me. One is that self-sufficiency is part of your philosophy as a county department and how you deliver your services. So I think that's great. And I have loved being able to speak through this podcast platform to help our listeners know what to expect when they come to us at child support. And I'm hearing the same thing from you, that if self-sufficiency is part of your philosophy, I'm guessing that you have such a high emphasis on quality customer service at DPSS because you recognize, as you mentioned, the challenging situations that customers are in. So, self-sufficiency is more than just the services being provided. It really is. It's a mindset. It's a value. And I'm so glad to hear that we share that with you. So I think that's really important. And then Maribel, if you could speak a little bit to you. So CalWorks is more along the lines of your area of expertise. Is that right? And that's under the umbrella of self-sufficiency?
Yes, for the self-sufficiency programs, we have, I'm going to go ahead and get started with medical. Medical is a low-cost or no-cost health insurance program, and it's for individuals and families in California. There are some eligibility requirements, but medical benefits are available for anyone regardless of their age, disability, household composition, immigration status. They can be working or not working. CalWorks is the CalWorks Opportunity and Responsibility Program, and it provides temporary cash assistance to eligible families with income or no income. In addition, we have CalFresh. CalFresh is known as SNAP at the federal level. And what we do is we supplement the family's income by providing an electronic benefit transfer card to qualified families or individuals so they can purchase foods to live a healthy life. And that's basically what we want. We want people to be healthy, to be able to receive assistance. We also have the General Assistance Program, and this is a program for adults 18 and older. There are some specific program requirements. And again, this is under the self-sufficiency umbrella. CalWorks, General Assistance, CalFresh, and the medical program.
So, Maribel, if I'm a customer in need of some or all of those services, but maybe I don't know which one specifically or which one I might qualify for, can you tell me, how do I apply for those benefits? Is it a single application that covers everything, and then DPSS will tell me what I qualify for? Or do I need to specifically know what kind of help I need when I come see a representative at DPSS?
Well, it's very easy in reality to apply. We have information about our programs at the RivCoDCSS.org website, but families applying for all programs can visit the letter C, the number 4, thewarriorself.com website, and they can start there an application for cash assistance, CalFresh, or medical. The questions are geared towards the need of the customer. If individuals are in need of food, they can get information at the getcalfresh.org website. The process is very simple. It's about 8 minutes. The application is received by the county worker the same day. The customer can provide information or verifications once the application is submitted using the same website. Applicants in need of medical can go to coverca.com or to the C, number 4, yourself.com, and apply for medical, CalFresh, CalWorks, all benefits. They can also do it. We have the 877-410-8827 number, where they can call and request an application to be mailed. We have some individuals that don't like to use technology to apply. Yep. We can mail them an application, but we encourage everyone to try, our online resources, self-service options. It's very fast, convenient. They can do it 24/7 from anywhere. And again, we have more information at the RivCoDCSS.org website.
That's great. Thank you, Maribel. And for our listeners, I want you to know that those contact points, the website, the phone number, the places to go, that will all be listed out in our podcast notes. So you just listen and take it in. You can reference those notes after the fact, and you'll know exactly where to go. So, Maribel, will I find the answer to this next question out as I navigate that application? Or is there any information you can tell our listeners about? Is there certain kinds of documentation that I should get ready ahead of time? Should I have, pay stubs, evidence of, where I live, anything like that? Is there anything I can do as a customer knowing that I want to apply for those services through DPSS to kind of get ready for that application and make it go a little bit smoother?
Thank you, Nathan. That is an excellent question. Yes, there are some documents that the customers may need to supply. However, we recommend everyone to have these documents handy when they are submitting an online application to avoid mistakes with their name, social security number, telephone number. So some of the documents that they may be required to provide are picture ID, a birth certificate, proof of their immigration status if they were not born in the United States, social security card for each household member if they are applying for benefits, proof of income that include pay stubs. If they are receiving unemployment or state disability, we may ask for award letters. Customers who are retired or receiving some type of pension benefit, we will ask for social security letters or award letters from their employer participant plans. Child support checks, which is very important because if they are receiving child support, we can go ahead and use that income, and all we need is a copy of the award letter or the check that they are receiving. We also need proof of housing and utility costs, for example, rent receipts. If they are paying for mortgage, we can get a mortgage bill, utility bills. Proof of disability if they are disabled and not receiving Social Security disability benefits. And again, if they are paying child support, we also need that because that may be used as a deduction depending on the program the customer is applying. But again, some individuals will be required to provide some information, others may not, if we are able to verify the information at the federal level or internally with any other program that they may have had in the past.
Okay. And I know you mentioned child support can come up in that application process, whether you are someone receiving support, and you might put that down as a source of income, or you're a parent paying support, and you might put that down as an expense that you have. What is your experience in customers at DPSS applying for CalWorks, and let's just be specific to that, and questions that might come up about child support? Do you find that there are customers who automatically want to know, hey, if I apply for this, CalWorks program, do I have to have a child support, case opened as well? Does that kind of thing come up often for you to address?
Well, yeah, it does. Sometimes they don't want to apply for cash assistance because they are already receiving child support. But we ask them to apply for the benefits and let the eligibility worker determine how that will be treated. If they are receiving income, depending on their family composition, or if they are paying the support. One of the barriers that we have sometimes is that they receive electronic payments. So it's contacting their worker to obtain that verification. And I noticed that your website offers all that information. So sometimes we are able to refer the customers either to their assigned caseworker or to visit your website to obtain additional information.
Yeah, that's great, and you're right. That information is available there, and I think just hearing you talk about that, I want our listeners again to be making the connection and recognize that the two agencies are connected at some level because there is a connection to support paid or received, and then an application for CalWorks at a very basic level. What I loved hearing you say though, and you tell me if I kind of got the gist of this right. An applicant for services at DPSS, they really are the ones that are in charge of that request, if you will. They are in the driver's seat. Correct.
We are able to verify some information, like I mentioned before, at the federal level. But if additional verifications are needed, definitely it is the customer's responsibility to provide those verifications to their eligibility worker to complete the determination. However, we offer the resources if they don't know where to get those verifications.
Okay. So that's great. So thank you for providing that information. Is there anybody that, I know you said it's pretty much open to everybody, right? And there are some qualifications that they will discover as they go through the process of applying for your services. Is there anything else under the general umbrella, Maribel, of CalWorks that you wanted to speak to?
No, the CalWorks umbrella has a lot of different services that are provided. One of them is childcare. Families are able to receive childcare benefits if they are working. Assistance is available again to these families if they are receiving cash assistance, or if they are caring of children under the age of 13, or if they need childcare because they need to work or do other welfare to work activities that are approved. And I think Alisa can probably help us expand a little bit more on this.
Sounds good. So, Alisa, for a customer who is receiving CalWORKs and, underneath that, there's a lot of other things that are going on in terms of, can they work? What if they need help finding work? Can you speak to us a little bit about the welfare to work side of that program and what our listeners would need to know about those services?
Absolutely, Nathan. Thank you. Yes, the welfare to work programs. Maribel already started to talk about the child care programs. That's just one of our supportive services and the way we assist. When a family is approved for CalWORKs and they have that sense of stability, they've got some income coming in, they've either got some Medi-Cal coverage and some CalFresh coming into the household, and they're stable. The next step in their our programs is to help them go back to work. We talked about that self-sufficiency piece, and that's where the welfare to work programs come into play. An individual, the family would be referred over to the welfare to work services or employment services, and that's when we sit down with that family, the adults in the family, and really go over where they're at in their lives. We're going to talk about work history, career goals, education, all of the things that are going on and where they're at and really where they want to go. What is the next step for this family? What's going to help them get to where they're not going to need the CalWORKs program anymore to support the family? Part of that, as Maribel said, is childcare. But we'll start with some of the primary programs. Our job readiness workshops. This is an amazing opportunity for individuals to really learn. We offer multiple different types of workshops. The job readiness stuff, it's interviewing tips, it's how to complete a resume. We actually help them do a really quality resume. Interviews. I know a lot of times I've had individuals that would come through the programs and they don't know how to answer their question, how to explain maybe a gap in work history or how they lost that job or what's happened. And so they have those kinds of things. We also have things on world-class relationships, going into the workforce, even living in your family, it's all about relationships. So we help them strengthen those relationships. We also partner with several other agencies, behavioral health services. Especially in this COVID environment, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, maybe there's some substance use issues going on. And so we partner with behavioral health, and we can provide counseling to the families and the individuals within that family to help them cope and to help them take the next step and build up the strengths necessary. The other supportive service is childcare. We can pay while that family is either looking for work and participating in our activities, and once they actually go to work, we can help cover some of the childcare costs for their children as well. Transportation expenses. We can help them get a bus pass or put gas in their vehicle so they can get back and forth to work or to that job interview. We also have some of the expenses related to going to work or keeping a job. So, family walks in and they need some help getting that uniform or getting a particular tool or an item that's necessary to start that job that's going to lead to that self-sufficiency. Depending on the item and the cost, we can pay for that on their behalf. So really, our programs are about supporting the families and, helping them achieve their goals.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. And it truly is a county community effort, really, to wrap around these families and provide them with the services that they need. One question that comes to mind as I'm listening to you is, are these services that you just mentioned available to, and they're going to be provided to, or at least offered to, anybody that applies for CalWORKs, or is this maybe an or can somebody come into DPSS and just apply specifically for those more work-related services that you just mentioned?
No, that's a great question. Thank you, Nathan. The supportive services, the welfare to work programs that are available are only available to the families that are receiving CalWORKs assistance on a regular basis.
Okay. So that to me is encouragement. You just want to go apply, right? You don't want to limit yourself. You don't want to think to yourself, I really think I only need this. Just apply, talk to a worker, and find out what is available to you, because I will tell you that some of the things that you're mentioning, I did not know those were services that you provided. So I'm guessing that I'm not the only one. And there are members of our listening audience and the public that, they would be doing themselves a disservice by making an assumption that, well, maybe DPSS can't help me with that, or I really only want this piece, so I won't apply. So they should just go talk to you. This is what I think.
They really should. Coming through the doors, I know it's hard. A lot of times we have families that come in and they never thought they would walk through our doors, but we are here to help. That's the point. We're a social service agency. Our job is to help families get back on their feet. We've got some other programs that are pretty amazing as well that are fairly new to the welfare to work programs. We have some career development services. We have a subsidized employment program where we partner with local businesses and we pay a portion of the customer's wages when they go to work, when they go back to work, if it's a partnering employer. So not only is it great for that person, but also it helps out our local businesses, especially right now, those that are coming back from COVID. We can help support that business and pay a portion of that person's wages for the first 6 months that they're on that job.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
That is a great one. We have our work experience program, which is we've partnered with local nonprofit agencies and local government, and we help people be placed in those organizations to gain unpaid work experience. It's a great opportunity if somebody's got a long, gap in their work history, so they just need to kind of get back into the groove of going to work every day. Maybe they want to change careers. It's a great way to get some exposure into some other areas and have them have some experience as well. We partner with some other education providers, and there's some no-cost education in demand fields, which is, short-term. And we also have the family stabilization program, the housing support programs, and those really are there to stabilize families. Obviously, CalWORKs is a stabilizing program, but the family stabilization services really are very intensive. And it's a holistic approach. We address the families, we help them. Maybe they've had a long-term illness that has really affected the family, and they're trying to navigate the disability benefits and just the stress that goes along with that. Housing support helps people if they are homeless. We can help them find housing, pay some of the deposits, and do other things. Or right now, if a family's facing eviction, because they've lost their income, there may be some financial aid to help people stay in their homes, not only rentals, but people that actually are paying their mortgages and missed mortgage payments. So there's some great opportunities out there.
Yeah, there really is. And I think there's a few things coming to mind, and I'll throw this out there for either of you to answer. So is there a limit on how long someone can, have these services provided to them? Does it vary based on, what is being provided? Or if you're an applicant for CalWORKs, it starts on this date and it runs for a certain period. How long is all of this available to one of your customers?
There are some time limits that are built into the programs, and those are at a federal and state level. It is 48 months, which is the equivalent of 4 years, that they're allowed to receive the CalWORKs benefits. There are some things that it could extend that, such as child support being paid in, that could extend the time that the family is, but those are all on an individual basis. Okay. And that would be something they'd want to talk to the eligibility worker about.
Okay. And I know, a lot of what we talk about, we're talking about families. Because of, me being part of child support services, I'm typically thinking about children. And I know that that's a large part of what DPSS does, but I don't believe that's everything. So if you are a family or an individual, can you still go apply, a family without kids or an individual, can you still go apply for these benefits at DPSS, or do you have to have children?
For the CalWORKs children, having children is a requirement, or if you are a female and you have little or no income and you're in your second or third trimester of pregnancy, then you can apply for the CalWorks program and you may be eligible to those services.
Okay. I think that thinking about myself, if I was to go apply for these services and I'm thinking through some of the difficult circumstances, that people are facing, especially over the last, year or so, one of the things I'm guessing that I would want to know, and I'm probably not alone in this is a lot of information to take in. And then if I qualify and I'm receiving these benefits, am I going to have to pay this back? So I don't know if you get that question, but I would think that might be a common question or something that your customers wonder is, do I have to pay some of this back? Do I have to reimburse, the county for the benefits that I'm receiving? So how does all of that work? And I'm not sure, Maribel or Elisa, which one of you should answer that, but I think that might be something our listeners want to know.
Yes, so that's a tough question, but in reality, all depends on each individual case and the reporting changes to the county. So if a family suffers a change in income, then the responsibility, which is addressed at the beginning of the application, is to report those changes to the family. If someone is leaving the house, coming into the house, having a baby, separation of families, all those changes really play a big role. And like I said, it all depends on the individual case and how timely those changes are reported to the county.
Okay. And that is similar, I think, to the world of child support, in that customers who have a court order for child support, really anytime they have a significant change in circumstance similar to the things that you just mentioned, whether it's an increase or decrease in income, whether it's additional dependents, they want to let us know. And one of the things, and I'd like one of you to address whether your approach at DPSS in responding to those kinds of issues with customers is the same as ours. Really what we are encouraging our customers to do is don't make assumptions that whatever that change in circumstance is could result in a negative impact for you. So in child support, for example, if you're a parent paying support and you've had an increase in your income, you don't want to automatically jump to an assumption that I want to withhold that information and not share it with child support services, because that could mean that I have to pay more money. What we encourage our customers to do is just be transparent. We in response will be transparent with information, with what regulations and policies are, and we'll just walk them through if anything needs to change, and if it does, here's how we do it. Because really, in our experience, it could go either way. There are times when those changes in circumstances actually make it so someone has to pay less money. On the flip side of it, the parent receiving support, it may make it so they end up receiving more. So I think there's some similarities there, with your customers. What is the approach and the response that DPSS would have to encourage their customers to, provide you with that updated information?
Well, definitely we want them to apply for those benefits that are available to them. And yes, we work the same way as your department. For example, someone who applies for CalWorks, they may be entitled to receive cash assistance, medical benefits, and CalFresh. If a negative change happens and that impacts their eligibility to the CalWorks program, they are referred to medical and CalFresh. So we will always look for the best for the family, regardless of the change that is reported. And let's say, for example, on the medical program, if we have someone who was eligible to medical because they had low income and now they change jobs and they are making a little bit more money, they may no longer be eligible for medical, but we do a referral to another program so they can continue receiving health benefits. Or, we have protection programs, and the customers may not be aware of this. We have a program that protects families from losing eligibility for up to 12 months. So if they are not aware of these changes, they are not able to apply this protection. And if we find out at a later time, the protection may no longer be eligible for these customers. So our rule is please report your changes. Let us do the eligibility determination. Our staff is trained to do that. We do regular trainings to update individuals on state regulation changes, new policies. So that's what we do best. And we are here to provide those services to our customers.
That's great. And I do believe that you do that to the best of your abilities. You guys are great. You provide a wonderful breadth of services to the public. And yeah, it's really an encouragement to everybody. Don't make those assumptions. Provide the information, work with your worker at DPSS, same thing at child support, because there may be options available to continue to help you, even if you think there's going to be a change that could potentially not be in your favor. One of the things I did want to get to, and we've kind of touched on COVID with, a mention here and there. One of the things I did want to ask you both is there anything that our listeners need to know about, the different pivots that DPS has had to make over the last year to continue to provide services? Has there been any changes in availability of customers to your offices? Is there anything that they would need to know right now? Is it in person? Is it virtual? Is it a combination of both? Is there anything specific to COVID and how customers respond and engage with you at DPSS that you could help them know?
Absolutely, Nathan. Our goal has been to protect the public and protect the staff. So the majority of our staff is teleworking at this moment. We have limited office hours available for customers to come in if need be. They can reach their eligibility workers or their welfare to work workers via phone. Applications are always available at the offices if somebody needs to come in and take them, and that's why we strongly encourage the See For Yourself application. They can apply for benefits, they can reach out to their workers, they can provide documentations, they can report changes, all of that via the application, very mobile friendly. So yeah, we have taken a very proactive approach to that.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing for listeners to know is that you are taking it seriously. Child Support Services has taken it seriously. The county has as a whole. We really do want our customers to be safe. We want them to be protected. We want to make sure that we are following all the proper protocols when engaging with our customers. And, if there's something good that has come out of it, it is probably the technology, and it's the emphasis on different ways of engaging with customers. So that's been a good thing. Maribel, Elisa, we are closing in on the end of our episode. I'm looking at my coffee cup and I'm getting pretty close to the end of it. So one final question, I take it back, two questions to kind of close us out. One is I just want to make sure that we haven't missed anything. So for either of you, if there's any program or part of your services that we've not touched on enough or we missed, I want to give you a moment to do that and follow that up with or go right into this next answer if there isn't anything we've missed. What would you want to leave as kind of a closing message to our listeners about your services? A word of encouragement about feeling free and comfortable to come see you, or reassuring them that you're there to help them. Any kind of closing message. So as we approach the end of our podcast episode, I'll leave that there with the two of you to respond to.
Yes, thank you, Nathan. So what we need to, the message that we want to give our customers is that DPS self-sufficiency, it's here for them. Our self-service options are available 24/7. Going to our website, RivCoDCSS.org, read about the many programs that we have. You will be able to find answers to most common questions. But again, if you are interested in applying for benefits, please visit the letter C, number 4, yourself.com website to apply for CalWorks, Medical, or CalFresh. And then again, CalFresh applicants, get calfresh.org. or Cover California if you are trying to apply for medical or any other benefit. But again, we are there for our customers, and our job is really to help them become sufficient by offering those programs, CalWorks, CalFresh, and medical. And again, this is for individuals, for families, regardless of immigration status. For medical, other programs have other requirements, but please visit the RivCoDCSS.org website for additional information, and we are here to help them.
Excellent. Thank you, Maribel. Elisa, anything else that you would like to add?
Just to kind of tag on with what Maribel was saying, all the programs are here. The Welfare to Work program really is here to support the families and support the communities and bring the customers together with the employment opportunities and education opportunities that are out there to really help them grow and take that next step, and really let us support you. Please come ask. I always say it never hurts to ask and ask about our services. We will let you know everything that's available to you. We will help you access the programs that are available to you. Riverside County is one large partnership. We work with like Community Action Partnership. We have so many different resources. So please come and ask. Also, if none of these services work for you, 211 is another resource that is available to anyone in Riverside County. Dial that up, ask them some questions. They will be able to provide a resource to you for just about anything you can think of in the way of helping agencies.
Excellent. Thank you both so much. You're the best. I appreciate your time. I hope our customers have learned a lot about what DPSS offers and the programs under self-sufficiency and CalWorks. So thank you for your time. And I think for a closing thought for me, for our child support customers connected to DPSS, if you are a customer who's looking to apply for CalFresh, for food stamps, remember child support, because those are benefits that are not going to automatically end up in a child support case being opened. And that may be what you want. And that's fine. But if we are a service that can help you as well, and you're applying for one of those benefits with DPSS, remember us. We'd be happy to talk to you. We'd be happy to explain our program in more detail to you. So please reach out to us. Thank you, ladies, both very much. My coffee cup is now empty, and that signals the end of our episode. So thank you so much for joining us. And I want to remind our listeners to please subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on a variety of different platforms, including Spotify, Anchor FM, Apple podcast platform. You can contact us at RivCoDCSS.com, find our contact information and a whole host of other information, including a resource page if you're in need of some assistance as well, looking for job openings, that kind of thing. We also provide a little bit of information on that. So thank you very much, ladies. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day as well.